now taking the lead. She's a length and a half in front of Zenyatta, coming to the 16th pole. St. Trinian's all out. Zenyatta trying to run her down on the money. St. Trinian's still a neck in front. Here's Zenyatta. Yes! Stamp this day in your minds and hearts. The Queen continues her legend 17 in a row.
Every sport has legends, athletes who transcend the game, who make you believe in something bigger than victory. But only one walked into the arena like she owned the world and left it believing she was a queen. Her name was Zenyatta. And this is not just a story about a racehorse. It's a story about joy, about resilience, about the rare, beautiful moment when an animal manages to captivate millions and remind us what it means to believe again. She was born on April 1st, 2004, at Lanes End Farm in Kentucky. An April Fool's Day baby with a sense of humor to match. From the beginning, Zenyatta was different. She was tall, towering even by thoroughbred standards, nearly 17 hands high, a gentle giant with soft eyes and a personality that seemed almost human. Her trainers noticed it immediately. She had quirks, a diva's confidence, and something else. Something harder to name. She would dance in the paddock before races, not out of nerves, not out of fear, but out of pure, unbridled joy. She wasn't just different, one trainer said. She was alive. And as she grew, as she trained, as she learned what it meant to be a racehorse, there were whispers. Whispers that this gentle giant might become something extraordinary. Most champions start young. At 2 years old, they're already racing, already proving themselves. Zenyatta? She waited. She didn't race at 2. She took her time, developed slowly, built strength in silence, while others chased glory. Some worried she'd never reach her potential. But then, she did. Her first race came late. November 22nd, 2007. She was 3 years old, and from that very first moment, fans realized this horse is different. She didn't just win. She won her way, starting from the back of the pack, calm, patient, almost lazy. And then, when it mattered most, she would explode. She wasn't just winning, one commentator said. She was doing it backwards, coming from last to first like she had all the time in the world. Victory after victory, each one building momentum, each one building legend. She wasn't just a racehorse. She was becoming something more. 19 races, 19 victories. Each one felt like a miracle. Because Zenyatta didn't win like other horses. She didn't dominate from the front. She didn't intimidate with early speed. She waited, dead last, sometimes 10, 15 lengths behind. Her jockey, Mike Smith, would sit calm in the saddle, trusting her, believing in her. And then, just when it seemed impossible, she would switch gears. Her stride would lengthen. Her power would surge, and like a tidal wave gathering force, she would sweep past horse after horse after horse. Too far behind, they'd say. She can't make it. She won't. Wait, she's flying. And she was. Every race became a story. Every finish became poetry. The comeback wins, the impossible margins, the moments that made you leap from your seat and shout at the screen. But here's what made it special, what made her unforgettable. She ran with heart. Every horse runs, but Zenyatta, She performed. And the bond she shared with Mike Smith, the trust, the partnership, the quiet understanding between rider and horse, it was something sacred, something rare. 19 times they did it. 19 times they proved magic was real. Zenyatta wasn't just winning races, she was winning hearts. Children held signs that read Queen Z. Fans lined the railings just to watch her dance in the paddock. Grown men and women wept with joy when she crossed the finish line. She made racing feel magical again. Because she wasn't distant, she wasn't cold, she was present. That dance, that signature, joyful, prancing dance before every race became a ritual, a moment of connection between horse and crowd. She would look at them, the thousands gathered, and she would move with such grace, such personality, that you couldn't help but smile. She didn't just race for the sport, one fan said, tears in her eyes. She raced for the people who believed in her. And they believed. Oh, how they believed. Because Zenyatta reminded them of something important. That beneath the competition, beneath the money and the prestige, sport is about love. And she loved them back. November 7th, 2009, Santa Anita Park, the Breeders' Cup Classic, the biggest race in American horse racing. Zenyatta was facing the best horses in the world, male champions, international stars, horses bred for this exact moment. And she was a mare, calm, gentle, prancing Zenyatta. The tension was unbearable. Could she do it? Against these horses? On this stage? The gates opened, and just like always, she was last. Dead last. Lengths behind, the leaders charging forward while Zenyatta settled into her rhythm. Mike Smith didn't panic. He trusted her. And then she began. One horse passed, then another, then another. Her stride lengthening, her power building, the crowd roaring louder with every step. The final turn, still behind, still climbing, and then, in a moment that still gives you chills, she exploded. Past the leaders, past the champions, flying down the stretch with such force, such beauty, that it didn't feel like a race. It felt like destiny. She won. And in that moment, that perfect, impossible, unforgettable moment, a mare, a calm and gentle giant, became a queen. Perfection. November 6th, 2010. Churchill Downs. The Breeders' Cup Classic. Again. Zenyatta was 19-0, undefeated, untouchable. One more race, one more victory, and she would retire perfect. The world was watching. The gates opened. And this time, something went wrong. Her start was slow. Too slow. The gap between her and the leaders grew wider than ever before. Mike Smith asked. She answered. But the distance, it was so much. Too much? No, not for her. She began her charge, that familiar, heart-stopping surge of power. Horse after horse fell behind, the crowd screaming, the announcers losing their minds. She's coming! She's coming! The stretch, the final furlong, she was flying. But so was Blame. Stride for stride, neck in neck, the finish line rushing closer. And then, second place, by a nose. The silence was deafening. But then, something remarkable happened. The crowd stood, all of them, tens of thousands on their feet, and they cheered, not for the winner, but for her, for Zenyatta, for the queen who gave everything. Because on that night, she didn't lose. She showed what it means to give everything, to fight with every ounce of strength, every ounce of heart, and still hold your head high. Mike Smith wept in the saddle, not from sadness, but from love. Because some races aren't about winning. They're about showing the world what courage looks like. They called her back one last time. Not to race, but to say goodbye. Tens of thousands gathered, not for a race, not for a competition, but for her. She walked onto the track one final time. That familiar dance, that regal presence. They draped her in garlands. They cheered until their voices broke, and she stood there, calm, graceful, almost as if she understood, soaking in the love. The standing ovation lasted for minutes, an eternity of gratitude. She came into racing as a gentle giant with a diva's dance. She left it as a legend. Today, Zenyatta lives in peace at Lane's End Farm, the same place she was born. She's a mother now. Her foals carry her bloodline, her grace, her spark. But more than that, she carries something else into the future. Hope. She reminded a generation that racing isn't just about speed. It's about heart, about connection, about the magic that happens when an animal and a crowd fall in love with each other. She's considered one of the greatest female racehorses of all time, and rightfully so. But ask the people who watched her, the ones who stood in the rain just to see her dance, and they'll tell you something different. They'll tell you she was more than great. She was theirs. Some horses run fast. Some horses win trophies. Some break records and fill history books. But once in a generation, just once, a horse comes along who does something different. She reminds us how it feels to believe again, to watch something beautiful and pure, to witness greatness not with jealousy or cynicism, but with joy. She made us feel alive. She made us feel part of something bigger. And her name? Her name was Zenyatta, the queen of American racing. And she will never be forgotten